All right, Math 8 students, welcome to section 5.5. And in this video, I'll try my best to go over as many problems from section 5.5 as possible. Now, I can't cover all the problems from the assigned homework, but I go over a fair bit of questions. So you should, if you have some problems, just go through this video and please try the remaining problems on your own. Okay, so for section 5.5, we want to simplify all these mathematical expressions. And the way to simplify, when you see the word simplify, this simply means make the final answer or find the final answer, make it nice, all right? Make it simple, all right? So if you notice in my first question, I have a bunch of numbers and letters. When I say simplify, you want to try and make this as nice as possible, okay? So that's what simplify means. Just make the question shorter, make it prettier, and let's go through this problem now here. Okay, so for a question like this, section 5.5 is all about finding the like terms. Okay, so like terms mean the same, pretty much they mean the same letters. So I have an A here, but I have a 2 in front, so that means I have like 2 apples. And if you look at the very last term, I have another, plus A. So if I combine these two terms, 2 apples plus 1 apple, that'll give me 3 apples. And if I look at this banana guy, I have 3 bananas, and then I take away 2 bananas. So 3 bananas minus 2 bananas will give you just 1 banana. So it'll be plus B. Okay. Some students may write this as 3A plus 1B, 1 banana. So those are the same final answers there. So this is pretty much my final answer, and you may also have this written down as well. Okay, so that is how you can simplify that problem there. Okay, now that we understand what simplify means, the idea is for these kind of problems, we want to continue to find like terms, and we want to add or subtract the like terms. All right, let's move on to question number 2b. Now, for question number 2b, that's this question over here. Once again, I have 2 apples here, and then I want to find other expressions that have the same letters. So I have a 2a over here at the very end, but it has a plus sign in front. Okay, so if I combine these two terms, that's like 2 apples plus 2 apples, that'll give me 4 apples. Okay, and then I have this negative 3b and this negative b right there. Okay, they're both negative signs. If they're both negative signs, my final answer should be negative. Now, when you're subtracting negative numbers, if you have negative 3b, take away another b, well, that's going to make your answer more negative, so that's going to be negative 4b. Okay, and then you have a plus c here, so that doesn't have any like terms, so let's just put the plus c there at the very end. Okay, so hopefully this part right here, this negative 4b, hopefully that's okay. I mean, if you have negative 3b subtract 1, that's going to give you negative 4. Okay. All right, let's move on. Question number C now. Okay, so I have a 3d here, and I have a plus d at the very end. So 3d plus d will give me 4d. Okay, and then I have a plus e here and plus 4e there, so that'll give me a plus 5e. And then the same idea from the previous problem, I have a negative f here and a negative 3f there. Okay, so a negative number subtract a negative number, well, that's going to give me a negative 4f. Okay, and this negative 4f here, that's pretty much coming from negative 1 minus 3, which is negative 4. Okay, so this negative 4 is that negative 4 right there. Okay, all right, so there it is. There's my final answer for part C there. Question number D now. Okay, so D, you have to be very careful with D, is because I have an A there and a square there, and then I see the letter A here. Now these two expressions right here, they're not the same. They're not the same, okay? You cannot combine those. All right, they have to be exactly, the numbers and the letters have to be exactly the same in order for you to combine them. Okay, so let's take a look at this B here, plus B and plus 2B. So that's not too bad, it's going to be 3B. And then I have a negative C and a 2C. So if I have a, think about it this way, if I have a 2c and if I take away 1c, that's going to give me 1c, positive 1c. And then I have this a here plus a, and then I have a 4a squared at the beginning. Okay, and that's how you could do this problem. And for this kind of question, you know, sometimes you can definitely rearrange the terms too. So you could have another acceptable answer could be 4a squared plus a. So I'm going to take this plus a and move that to the front, and then I could have my plus 3b plus 1c. Okay, so feel free to rearrange the terms. These are both acceptable answers. Okay, let's move on to question 5e now, or part E. Okay, so part E, you know, same ideas. You want to find the like terms. So here's 5a. So where do you see other a's? Well, here's an a, negative a, and here's a negative 4a. Okay, so ask yourselves, let's combine this with this. 5a minus a, that'll give me 4a, and 4a minus 4a, well, that'll give me 0a. So all the a's just cancel each other out. Okay, and then I have this plus c. Now, do you have any other single c's out here? And the answer is no, so I'll leave my plus c just the way it is. And then I have a minus b and a minus b, so minus b minus b. Okay, so that's going to be negative 2b. And then I have this minus c squared, which is this guy in purple right there. Okay, so this is my final answer here. Plus c minus 2b minus c squared. Now, before I continue, if you're not sure on how I got this negative 2b, basically what's happening is if I draw a number line, and let me just kind of erase all this. All right, you know what the final answer is, but let's just say I have a negative b here. Okay, let's just call that negative 1. All right, this negative b is this negative 1 guy right here on the number line. Now, if I take this negative 1 guy, and if I take away another b, like that means, would that mean, so basically if you have a negative 1 and if you take away this negative b, that means you're going to the left hand side. Okay, I mean, you're not becoming more positive if you take a negative number away from a negative number. You're becoming more negative. So if I take a negative another b from this, negative 1, the next number in cross would be negative 2, right? The positive numbers are over here, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. I mean, if I start with this negative number here, and if I start with this negative number here, and if I take away another negative number, I'm not becoming more positive. I'm not doing that. I'm becoming more negative. So if I take another negative number away from this starting number, I end up at negative 2, and that's how I get this negative 2b when I combine those two guys. Okay, so I'm sorry that was a bit messy there, but I just want to emphasize that when you have a negative number and if you take away another negative number from it, you're actually becoming more negative and not positive. All right, let's move on now. Okay, so for question F, well, here's a 2a and a plus a, so that's going to be 3a. And then I have a plus b squared and a plus 3b squared. That's going to give me plus 4b squared. And then I have this minus 7b, which is just this lone term right here because the 7b just has one single, so there's my final answer here. Okay, and that's all it is. We're just collecting like terms and we're combining them together. Okay, next part, simplify. All right, so this is pretty much similar to section 5.4. You know, we need to distribute right through the brackets here. So for the first part, notice that I have nothing on the outside here. So if you have nothing and if you distribute nothing into the brackets, you're just left with the brackets, whatever's inside the brackets. So it's going to be a minus b. And I have a plus sign here. So we want to distribute that right through the brackets. So that's going to be plus b minus a. All right, now we want to collect our like terms. And if I combine this a with this negative a minus a, that will give me 0. And if I have a negative b, and if I add plus b to it, that's like negative 1 plus 1, that will give me 0 as well. So my final answer here is 0. Okay, so for this next part, we're combining section 5.4 and 5.5 together. Okay, let's move on. For question number B, well, I have nothing on the outside. And if you have nothing on the outside, then you just remove the brackets and you get negative a plus b. And then I'm going to distribute this plus sign right through. That's going to be plus b minus a. All right, now we need to combine the like terms. So negative a minus negative a, this is going to be negative 2a. And if I combine plus b and plus b, that's going to give me positive 2b. All right, and there it is. There's my final answer. Moving on to question number C now. Since I have nothing on the outside here, that just means you remove the brackets, so negative a minus b. And I have this negative sign here, so you want to distribute that right through. So that'll give me positive b, positive a. And then you want to combine the like terms. So here's negative a and positive a. So negative a plus a, that'll give me 0. And negative b plus b, negative b plus b, that'll give me 0. So my final answer here will just be 0. All right, moving on to the next question here. Let's remove the brackets first. So I have nothing on the outside here. So if I have nothing on the outside, that means I can just remove the brackets. So negative a minus b. I have a minus sign here. That minus sign will distribute right through the brackets. So that'll be a negative b plus c. And the same idea over here. I want to distribute this negative sign right through. So that'll be negative c plus a. All right, after we've done the 5.4 part, now we do the 5.5, which is collect the like terms. So here's an a, and here's a positive a. That's going to give me 2a. And if I have a negative b minus another b, this is coming up again. This will be negative 2b. And if I take a plus c and take away the c, that's going to give me 0 c's. So my final answer here is 2a minus 2b. Okay, let's move on. All right, so I'll do this one a little bit faster now. This is going to be a minus b. The plus sign will distribute right through, so that'll be plus b minus c. And this plus sign will once again distribute through, so it'll be plus c minus a. All right, once I collect the like terms, this is a and negative a, so that'll give me 0 a's. If I have a negative b and this positive b, that'll give me 0 b's. And if I have this negative c and this positive c, that will also give me 0 c's. So my final answer is simply going to be 0. Okay, moving on to the next question. So delete this. All right, so I'm going to highlight this 3 here because that 3 will distribute right through the brackets. So this will be 3 times 6 is 18, and then the letter b, minus 3 times 9 is 27a. And then this plus sign, this plus 7 will distribute right through the brackets. So this will be plus 42a. And then I have a positive and minus sign, so that's going to give me a negative sign, and that will be 35. 7 times 5 is 35b. Okay, and then after this, what you want to do is you want to collect your like terms. And once you collect your like terms, I have 18b and a negative 35b. So 18 minus 35 is going to be what? So taking out my calculator here, 18 minus 35, that's going to be negative 17. So negative 17b. And then I have this negative 27a and this plus 42a. So what's 42 minus 27? So 42 minus 27, that's going to give me a 15. So this will be plus 15a. Okay. And you can also write this as 15a minus 17b. All right, so there it is for question number F. All right, moving on to question number G now. Same idea. I have a 3 on the outside, so let's distribute that right through the brackets. So this would be 3a minus 3b. Then this positive 7, distributing that right through, that's going to be positive 14a plus 14b. Okay, and now you want to collect the like terms. Here's 14a, positive 14a and positive 3a. That's going to give me 17 apples. And if I have this 14b, what's 14 bananas take away 3 bananas? Well, 14 bananas take away 3 bananas. That's going to give me plus 11 bananas. Great. Okay, let's move on to question number H now. Once again, you want to distribute right through. So this would be 17 minus, well, this is a little bit harder, 17 times 3. Well, 17 times 3, that's going to give you negative 51, so negative 51c. And then you take this other 3, this positive 3, and you want to distribute that right through. And this is going to give you plus 3c plus 3c squared. Okay. Now, once you've done that, the only thing that you can really simplify here is you have a positive 3c. If I have a positive 3c and if I take away negative 51, so 3 minus 51, that's going to give you negative 48. So this will be negative 48c, and then plus the 3c squared, and then I have this 17 in front. So here's my answer, 17 minus 48c plus 3c squared. And you may also write this as 3c squared minus 48c plus 17. These are all equivalent answers here. Okay, so I'm just rearranging the terms right there. Okay, let's move on to some more harder questions now. So the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. The next 5 questions are a bit harder because they're longer, and when questions are longer, you're more likely to make a simple mistake. Okay, but the idea and the concepts are the same. They're very similar to 5.4. You want to distribute right through the brackets and then collect your like terms. Okay, so a times a and a times negative b, that's going to be a squared. Okay, so whenever you're taking variables and if you're multiplying two variables together, that's going to give you a squared. And then this will give you minus ab. Let's distribute this right through. This will be plus b squared, not 2b, but b squared. And then this will give me a negative bc. And then let's distribute this right through. This will be plus c squared minus ca. Okay, and I think that's about it. I don't see any like terms, and yeah, that's an acceptable answer. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I'll delete this. And same idea, a times a, that's going to be a squared, and a times negative b, that'll be negative ab. B times b is positive b squared. B times negative a is going to be negative ab. Now this part right here, this negative ab, you could write that as negative ab or negative ba. It's the same thing. Alright, the last part is this will be positive ca minus cb. Okay. And after that, let's just collect the like terms, and I have a like term here and a like term there. So if I combine those, that's going to give me negative 2ab, and then everything else should stay the same. So this is a squared plus b squared plus ca minus cb, and that should be it. Okay, so moving on. Alright, so a few more harder questions here, but the concepts are relatively the same. So a times a is going to be a squared, and a times negative b, that's going to give you negative ab. Now over here I have a plus sign, so let's put the plus sign there. And I have a 3 times c, that's going to be 3c. Let's put everything in a bracket here, by the way. And then 3 times a squared, that's going to be plus 3a squared. And then this minus ab, that's going to hang around negative ab, and let's put the bracket sign right through. Okay, great. Now, this positive sign here in red, that's going to distribute through everything inside this bracket now. And if you do that, well, the brackets just kind of go away, because whenever you have a positive sign on the outside, well, you'll get positive 3c, positive 3a squared. And you have a minus sign and a positive sign, so minus sign wins, so this will be negative ab. Okay, and then you want to collect your like terms, and I have a like term right here, negative ab and negative ab, so that's going to give you negative 2ab, and then you can bring down everything else, a squared plus 3c plus 3a squared, and you can also combine these two terms, the 3a squareds and the a squareds. So a squared plus 3a squared, that's going to give me 4a squared minus 2ab plus 3c. So this is my final answer there for question number part C there. Okay. All right, great. Let me just delete this so I can move on to the next question. If you didn't see all that, just pause the video and just rewind or go back. Okay, for this question here, I have... Let's take care of this bracket first, okay? This inside bracket first, and then after we do that, then we'll take care of this C on the outside. Alright, so if I take care of everything in the yellow part right there, I have a C times a 2A, that's going to be 2AC, and a C times a 2B, that's going to be positive 2BC, plus this d right here, and then let's put the brackets along with this c. And this is going to be negative 4ac squared plus bc squared. Okay, so the very first step is let's take care of everything inside the bigger brackets first. And then we're going to take this this green c and we're going to distribute that into everything inside this bigger bracket. So this will give me 2ac squared plus 2bc squared plus dc. Okay, so when this this green c here that I'm highlighting here now in red, if that goes right through the brackets, then all the c's have increased by at least one factor there. Okay, and then let's bring down everything else. Minus 4ac squared plus bc squared, and all we have to do now is we need to collect the like terms here. Well, I have a 2ac squared and a negative 4ac squared. All the variables are identical, they're the same, so we can combine those. So 2ac squared minus 4ac squared, that's the same thing as 2 minus 4, which is going to be negative 2, and then the variables carry along. And then I have this plus 2bc squared and this plus bc squared. That's going to give me a plus 3bc squared plus dc. And that's it for that question. Okay, let's move on to the next one. These questions are getting very long and they're getting very painful. Okay, so same idea here. These outside guys I'm highlighting here in yellow. Notice I'm highlighting the sign and the variable. Those will distribute through everything inside the brackets, right? So this is what we did in section 5.4. All right, you want to distribute this right through the brackets. So this will give you xy minus 3xz minus yz plus 3yx minus zx plus 3zy. Okay, so hopefully the signs, if you have a negative sign, that will give you positive, right? So hopefully you're okay with section 5.4 now. And now this is where you want to be very careful. You want to collect the like terms, okay? So if I look at the xy, you want to look for other expressions that have a letter x and the letter y. And here's another expression that has a letter y and the letter x. Now the letter y and the x, you can switch them around x, y, but as long as they have the x and the y together, then those are like terms. So what's xy? So I have one xy here and I have 3 xy's there. So if I add those together, that's gonna give me a 4xy. Okay. And now if I have a negative 3xz there and a negative xz over here, that's going to give me, well, what's negative 3 minus 1? Well, negative 3 minus 1 is going to give me negative 4, and then the variables just carry along. Okay. And finally, this part in green here, I have a negative yz and a plus zy here. Those are like terms because they have the same letters. So what's 3? If I take this 3 here and if I subtract 1 from it, that will give me plus 2yz. And that's it. Alright, once again, you can feel free to interchange these letters. Alright, so maybe your answer may not be exactly like this, but the letters can be interchanged. Okay, let's move on to the next one, h. Alright, so this is going to be 3xy. That doesn't change. Now, if I go through the brackets here, that's going to give me 3xz minus 2xy, and then this minus xy here. That just tags along. And then here we can go right through the brackets here. That's going to be negative yx, right through the brackets, plus 2yz. Okay. Now we want to get rid of these brackets here highlighted in yellow here, and since I have this positive sign, the positive sign will distribute right through the brackets just like in section 5.4. So this will be 3xy plus 3xz minus 2xy minus xy, and then all these other guys remain the same. Alright, now all you have to do now as a student is you need to find the like terms. So here's a 3xy, and here's a negative 2xy, here's a negative xy, Here's a negative yx. Alright, let's combine these together now. So if I have 3 minus 2, that's going to be 1. 1 minus 1 is 0, and minus another 1 there, that's going to be negative xy. And then I don't have any other like terms, so this will be plus 3xz plus 2yz. And this is your final answer right there. Okay. All right. Let's move on here. The last 4 questions here. Okay. So the last 4 questions, even though you have these weird fractions on the outside, this fraction there, this fraction there, this fraction there, and this fraction there, the concept is still the same thing. You want to take the fraction and you want to just distribute that right through the brackets. So this will be 1 over 4 times 8x plus 1 over 4 times 4 minus the 3. Okay, that 3 is right there. Okay, so whenever you have fractions, you know, this 8x is the same thing as 8x over 1, and this 4 over here is the same thing as 4 over 1. If you multiply this right through, it's the same thing as multiplying fractions, right? So if I have a 1 and an 8x, that's going to give me 8x. And this 4 and that 1, 4 times 1, that's going to give me a 4. Plus, well, 1 times 4, that's going to give me a 4, divided by 4 times 1 is going to be 4, minus 3. And you just need to simplify this now. 8 divided by 4, that's going to give me 2. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and then the letter x just comes down. Plus, well, 4 divided by 4, that's going to be a 1, and then this minus 3. So if I combine everything together, and if I combine these like terms, these are just numbers, this is going to be 2x minus 2, and that's my final answer, 2x minus 2. All right, so you do the same thing with the next problem. A 1/3 times 3x plus 1/3. 1/3 will also go to the 9 minus 2x. Okay, and you can definitely put everything under a fraction if you like, and just multiply it right through, and this will give me, I'm just going to go right to the answer here. Well, 1/3 times 3x, that's going to give me an x plus 3 minus 2x. Okay, so feel free to do that in one step if you can. And if I combine this x and this negative 2x, like 1 minus 2, that'll be negative 1x plus 3, or 3 minus x. Same thing. These are the same expressions. Okay. Mr. Yoon's getting pretty tired here. We're approaching half an hour here, so let me, I'm going to skip number C because I'm too tired to do that one. But I'll do D for you guys. 1/3, let's distribute that right through the bracket. So this will be 1/3 x plus 1/3 times 3. Next thing, I want to distribute this 5 over 6 right through the bracket. So this will be plus 5 over 6x minus 5 over 6. Okay. All right, so how do we do this? Well, okay, this is 1/3 times x, and x is the same thing as x over 1. This is going to be x divided by 3, plus 1/3 times 3 over 1, that's going to be plus 1, plus 5 over 6 times x. Well, this is x is the same thing as x is the same thing as x over 1, so this would be 5x over 6 minus 5 over 6. All right, now we just kind of combine the like terms here. If I look at this 1 here, this positive 1, and this negative 5 over 6, I can change this 1 into, that's like 1 over 1. I can change that into a 6 over 6, right? 6 over 6 is 1. And if I combine that with this negative 5 over 6, that's going to give me 1 over 6. So if I combine the fractions together, I get 1 over 6. All right, and the next thing I have to do next is, how do I combine this guy and that guy? Because both of them share the same variable x and x. Okay, so all you have to do is look at the denominators here. I have a 3 and a 6. How can you add fractions if the denominators are different? Well, you want to get a common denominator. So you take this fraction here, you want to multiply the top and bottom by 2. You get 2x over 6. And if you combine that with 5x over 6, you'll get 7x over 6 plus this 1 over 6, this guy here, and that will be your final answer. Okay, so I do apologize. I kind of rushed the last one there, but you know, the last 3 questions, you might see one of those on your test. I'm not so big on the fractions going through the brackets, but you know, it does follow the same concept, and you just need to spend a little more time simplifying your work. All right, so we'll see you guys in class.